All right, well, the African National Congress has announced additional members of the Eastern Cape Provincial Executive Committee. Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane has been re-elected as the ANC Provincial chairperson. Mabuyane will be serving his fourth term in this position. The ANC is expected to continue with provincial elective conferences ahead of the much-anticipated national conference in December. Meanwhile, alleged poor service delivery, the party's leadership has not been in hot water as some of its top officials face various charges, including fraud and corruption. We're now joined via Zoom by political analyst Dr Ntsikelelo Breakfast to weigh in on the ANC's leadership style and, of course, its governance as we look into the Eastern Cape. A very good afternoon to Dr. Breakfast. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very much for having me, Flo.
You're most welcome. I mean, I wonder if you think this is quite ironic, the fact that, you have this leadership that is re-elected at the helm, Oscar Mabuyane, but at the same time, the ANC speaking of unity and renewal. Is there a sense of renewal while we're bringing in, the likes of Oscar Mabuyane back at the helm?
Of course not, Flo. I think ANC members, by and large, don't subscribe to the idea of politics of accommodation, whereby if there are problems, you hit problems hard and be soft on other people. I think people subscribe to the idea that the winner takes all. I don't think that after the elections or after the outcomes, ANC members, they normally, sing Kumbaya and forget about their differences. You see people most of the time employing strategies of political survival by holding on to power, by purging other people who come across as posing a threat to them. And that flow, what it does is to escalate conflicts within the party. That's why I don't subscribe to the idea that factionalism is a good thing. Because some people say, no, factionalism is a good thing because it promotes competition. I disagree with that because factionalism poses a threat to the party. If you are a political party, you have to function as a unit in order to perform well during the elections.
Well, let me come in as a devil's advocate there when you're talking about factionalism. One might argue that perhaps, factionalism is good as well due to the fact that, it also promotes a diversity of thought, that there isn't a one way of thinking, and that you should have a situation where there is a diversity of thought within, one party. Is that not a positive?
You are arguing in theory, not in practice, Flo. That is politics of idealism. The fact of the matter is that some people, when you articulate views which they don't hold, they see you as a threat, regardless whether your views are on point or they are off the mark. So that's the problem. And what that does also is that people who agree with the dominant faction are taken on board and they are deployed, even though some of them fall short in terms of getting the job done in strategic positions, so long as they speak the same language with those who are at the helm of power.
Yeah. Yesterday, while listening to President Cyril Ramaphosa's closing remarks at the conference, he did talk quite a bit about, the issue of factions and divisions in the party, and he said that this would be the end of it, and that, regardless of who you would have favored to be victorious in this conference, that, we're all one now. Is that a delusion? Is that something that is possible within the ANC? It seems as though, the ANC is synonymous with the issue of factions and divisions, and it seems to be something that, that's the identity of the party, forms part of the identity of the party.
Flo, I've said this before and I will say it again. Politics is about hegemony. It's about dominance. It's about imposing your agenda on your opponents covertly. And anything that poses a threat to you, you will marginalize it or sideline it. So I don't think that Ramaphosa and his faction, they are going to accommodate people who are posing a threat to them. What is happening at the moment within the ANC, in my opinion, you have two categories of leaders. You have the soft liners, the Ramaphosa faction. They believe in a softy approach. They believe that there must be incremental changes. Then you have the hardliners, the forces of RAT. They believe that the economy must be dismantled. The means of production must be transferred to the majority. So there is no way they can speak the same language. It's just a pie in the sky.
Yeah. I want to talk more about, the Eastern Cape, and, we can talk about the leadership, until we're blue in the face. But the biggest problem in the Eastern Cape is the issue of service delivery. I mean, we have a very popular show here on SABC News called Cutting Edge. And I saw some people jokingly saying, well, here we go, another season for Cutting Edge, because, you've really sort of voted in the same people, and we're going to have the same issue of service delivery. Is service delivery, important when it comes to the leadership of that particular province? Because, for many years we've seen on television here, we report on it, some of the problems that are the many problems faced by residents of the Eastern Cape. It seems as though the biggest issue for them is who's at the helm, who wins elections and so forth. Is there any talk about, actual service delivery? Because it seems as though that is just rhetoric anytime that it is mentioned.
Flow throughout history, ANC leaders have used in the Eastern Cape the state machinery to dish out favors to their own henchmen in exchange for support in order for them to hold on to power. People within the state machinery, they employ their... I wanted to work for government when I did my first political science degree, but then I couldn't get a job. Because people, they employ those of their own. Yeah. I had to study up until I got a PhD. So that is the state of affairs. That people use the state machinery to divert resources to their families, not to all and sundry.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much for weighing in, and always a pleasure talking to you. It's unfortunate we couldn't get you into politics. Thanks very much, sir.